Good evening, chaps. Allow me to introduce Princess Zyla. Extraordinary being, wouldn't you say? Green skin, three eyes, antennae that could pick up intergalactic radio. Not your average princess, this one. Hailing from the illustrious planet Zargon, a rather spiffing place with 2 suns and purple vegetation. Quite the sight, really. Princess Zyla crash-landed her spaceship, a shimmering silver disc, right in the middle of Hyde Park. Startled the pigeons it did. She emerged, unscathed but a tad cross, her tiara slightly askew. Quite a dramatic entrance, one might say. "Blimey!" exclaimed a nearby Bobby, taking in the sight of the otherworldly princess and her crumpled spacecraft. "Looks like we've got an intergalactic parking violation, love." Zyla, unfamiliar with Earth customs, merely tilted her head and adjusted her shimmering antennae. Now Princess Zyla wasn't on Earth for a jolly holiday. Oh no, she was on a rather important mission. Seemed Zargon, with its 2 suns and purple flora, was suffering from a severe case of the greys. Everything was turning grey, the skies, the plants, even the Zargonians themselves. Quite dreadful. Their only hope, according to the royal astrologer, lay in a rare earth element, chlorophyll. Yes, that green pigment found in plants. Zyla's mission to obtain a generous supply of this chlorophyll and return to Zargon, thus saving her planet from a monochrome fate, a right royal responsibility, I'd say. Her first encounter was with a rather grumpy taxi driver. "Where to, Gov?" he grumbled, eyeing Zyla's green skin with suspicion. "The nearest chlorophyll repository?" she inquired politely. The taxi driver scratched his head. "The what now? You trying to pull my leg, lady?" Zyla consulted her Zargonian to English dictionary, a rather bulky tome. "Ah, a garden centre," she declared. The taxi driver, with a weary sigh, put the car in gear. "Buckle up, love, you're in for a bumpy ride." The garden centre proved to be a disappointment. Rows of plastic flowers and gnomes did little to impress Zyla. Where was the vibrant green she sought? Disheartened, she slumped onto a bench, her antennae drooping. It was then that she encountered him, Ogbert. Now, Ogbert wasn't your typical garden centre employee. He was, how shall I put it, rather ogreish in appearance, large, green, and possessing a distinct aroma of swamp mud, but beneath that rough exterior beat a heart of gold, or perhaps a heart of compost, considering his affinity for gardening. "You look a bit down in the dumps, love," Ogbert remarked, his voice a booming rumble. Zyla, startled, explained her predicament: the greying of Zargon, the need for chlorophyll, the disappointing lack of vibrant greenery. Ogbert listened patiently, stroking his scraggly beard. "Chlorophyll, eh?" he mused. "Well, you've come to the wrong place, princess. This here's just a bunch of fancy fakes. If it's real green you're after, you need to venture further. Seek out the Whispering Woods. Legend has it the trees there hold a special kind of magic." Following Ogbert's directions, Zyla set off to the Whispering Woods. It was a place of ancient trees and dappled sunlight, the air thick with the scent of moss and damp earth. She soon encountered another peculiar inhabitant, Gingley, a gingerbread man with a rather nervous disposition. Now, Gingley wasn't your average biscuit. He was quite mobile, for one thing, his gingerbread legs carrying him at a surprising speed. He was also rather jittery, prone to sudden exclamations and nervous twitches. "Crumbs!" he squeaked, nearly jumping out of his gingerbread skin when he saw Zyla. "You startled me." Zyla, ever polite, introduced herself and explained her quest for chlorophyll, the magical kind that Ogbert had mentioned. Gingley, after much wringing of his doughy hands, revealed that he knew the secret of the Whispering Woods. "There's a hidden grove," he whispered, his gingerbread voice barely audible. "A place where the trees glow with an inner light, but it's guarded by... Gingley trembled, unable to utter the name of the fearsome creature that protected the grove. Zyla, sensing his fear, gently patted his gingerbread arm. "There's no need to be afraid," she reassured him. "I'll face this, Guardian, for Zargon." Section 5. Puss in Space Boots. With Gingley's hesitant guidance, Zyla ventured deeper into the Whispering Woods, towards the hidden grove. The air grew cooler, the light dimmer, the trees seeming to press closer, their branches intertwining overhead. And then she saw him, or rather she saw his boots, sleek, black space-age boots, complete with tiny thrusters. "Those are some stylish boots, my friend," Zyla remarked, peering into the shadows. A figure emerged, a ginger cat with piercing green eyes and a rakishly tilted hat perched atop his head. "Why, thank you, mademoiselle," he purred, bowing low. "This is Puss. Puss in Boots, at your service." Puss, it turned out, was not a native of the Whispering Woods. He was an intergalactic adventurer, a feline rogue with a penchant for danger and a weakness for beautiful princesses. He had, quite by chance, stumbled upon this grove while on a quest for a legendary cosmic tuna. "So, you seek the glowing trees, eh?" he meowed, his eyes gleaming with interest. "A worthy quest, to be sure, but beware, princess, the guardian is a fearsome creature. A dragon, they say, with eyes that could melt steel and breath that could incinerate 1,000 gingerbread men." He shuddered, remembering a close encounter with a particularly nasty space slug on the planet Zog. "But fear not, Puss is here to help." Section 6. A Dragon's Perspective. With Puss in Boots by her side, Zyla felt a surge of confidence. They reached the hidden grove, a clearing bathed in an ethereal green light. The trees here did indeed glow, their leaves shimmering with an otherworldly radiance. And coiled around the largest tree, its scales glinting in the dim light, was the dragon. It was not a fearsome beast, as Puss had described. It was, in fact, rather small for a dragon, and rather sleepy. Its eyes, instead of melting steel, seemed to be struggling to stay open, and its breath, instead of incinerating gingerbread men, smelled faintly of chamomile tea. "Excuse me?" Zyla said politely, approaching the slumbering dragon. "I believe you're guarding something rather important." The dragon cracked open one eye, regarding Zyla with a weary expression. "Oh, blast," the dragon mumbled, its voice a low rumble. "Not another one. Look, I'm supposed to be a fearsome guardian, right? Breathing fire, scaring intruders, all that jazz, but frankly it's exhausting and the pay is terrible." Section 7. The Queen's Request. The dragon, whose name was Cedric, explained that he was under contract with the Queen of the Whispering Woods to guard the grove. The Queen, it turned out, was a bit of a control freak, hoarding the grove's magic for herself. She used the chlorophyll from the glowing trees to maintain her youthful beauty. "She's obsessed with wrinkles," Cedric confided, sighing. "Thinks a few lines on her face will spell the end of her reign. Vain. That's what she is." Zyla, realizing that the Queen was the true obstacle, devised a plan. She would appeal to the Queen's vanity, offering her something even more valuable than chlorophyll. Using her Zargonian technology, Zyla created a holographic image of herself, her green skin now radiant, her eyes sparkling. "Imagine," she said to Cedric, "if the Queen could have skin like this, forever young and luminous. Wouldn't she be thrilled?" Cedric, impressed, agreed to help. He flew Zyla and Puss to the Queen's palace, a magnificent oak tree in the heart of the woods. The Queen, a rather imposing woman with a crown of thorns and a severe expression, was initially furious at the intrusion. Section 8. Farewell to Earth. But when Zyla presented her with the holographic image promising her eternal youth and beauty, the Queen was swayed. She agreed to share the chlorophyll from the glowing trees, recognizing that Zyla's offer was too good to refuse, and so Zyla's mission was a success. With a heartfelt thank you to her new friends, Ogbert, Gingly, Puss and Cedric, Zyla boarded her repaired spaceship, her cargo hold filled with vials of precious chlorophyll. As she blasted off into the night sky, leaving a trail of shimmering stardust, she knew that this was not goodbye, but merely farewell. The Earth, with its strange inhabitants and unexpected adventures, had left its mark on the alien princess. She had learned the value of kindness, the importance of courage, and the power of a good cup of chamomile tea. Section 9. Return to Zargon. Upon her return to Zargon, Zyla was hailed as a hero. The chlorophyll, sprinkled across the greying landscape, worked its magic. Colour returned to the planet, the skies turning a vibrant blue, the plants regaining their purple hue, and the Zargonians themselves regaining their natural green complexion. Zyla, hailed as the green saviour of Zargon, knew that her adventure had changed her forever. She had ventured to a distant planet, faced her fears, and made unlikely friends. And she had learned that even the most different of beings, whether they have green skin and antennae or are simply a grumpy ogre with a heart of gold, can find common ground. The end.